welcome to a special edition of Inside the Headset. We're on the campus of Blackman High School, and I've got with me the new head coach of the Blackman Blaze, head coach Matt Kriesky. How you doing today, Coach?
Good. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, it's great to have you. Finally, you left Williamson County and come over to here, back to Rutherford County, and I do understand you live here, don't you?
I do. I live about 10 minutes down the road, so my first job was actually here at Blackman High School in 2006. I started in January after I graduated from MTSU, so it's kind of exciting. Whenever I went and met the entire administration team, out of all of them, I've worked with all of them except one when I was here my first go around. So it's pretty neat to see them and seeing teachers that I worked with before in the past, and just kind of feel like almost coming back home.
Well, and that's a great transition. Let's talk about. As I spoke to your brother when he first became the coach over at Riverdale High School, let's talk about your track and how you get to this point in your life and your journey as a football coach. Take us through from high school and then bring us right up to where we are right now.
Played high school football in West Tennessee, a place called Henry County.
Okay.
Paris, Tennessee.
And what position did you play in?
I played linebacker. I played inside, and he played outside. And Coach Donnie Webb would tell you he had two of the smallest linebackers in the state of Tennessee. So. We were very fortunate to play under Coach Donnie Webb. He was a great mentor for us, not only whenever we were in high school, but as we started our coaching journey also. We've been able to lean on him.
And where was Kriesky at this time?
Kriesky was he was a defense coordinator, DB coach. So I would always start out playing safety, and then when somebody would get hurt or something, they'd always move me back in the box and playing linebacker. But Coach Kriesky, he coached. He was our secondary coach, and we developed a relationship with him throughout high school, and then even when we came in coaching also. Coach Kriesky, actually, whenever he was doing his student teaching, was at Inman Middle School. I was an 8th grader there, so...
was he coaching middle school ball, or was
no,
he
he was actually just finishing up, about to graduate. It was the spring, so he did his student teaching at the middle school, and then I believe if I'm not mistaken, he went to the 9th grade school for a little bit with us, and then they moved him up to the high school the next year. So I think he kind of followed us the 4 years we were in high school.
So Kriesky was following the Kriesky boys during that time.
Yeah.
So you graduate, and then at that time, college football wasn't in the cards. You went over. You said you went to MTSU.
Just went to MTSU. Went to school. Went there for 4 years, and then graduated in December of 2005 and started here in January of 2006. I worked here for a year under Bobby Wells as a freshman assistant coach. I did my student teaching at Oakland the season before. I took a job here, and then LeBron, after we finished up here, LeBron Ferguson offered me a job back at Oakland coaching the secondary.
I remember Coach Ferguson.
So I went over there with Coach Ferguson, spent a year with him, then they bring in Coach McDaniel. I was fortunate to work with Coach McDaniel, I believe it was 8 years. We're on 2008 staff that won the state championship
with McAdoo and those guys.
Yes, sir.
And beat everybody. Went undefeated. Yes, I remember that, man. Because that was my last year at Smyrna, and you beat Smyrna right into the ground. That was at your house. It was over at Oakland. I remember that very well.
So I did that 8 years, and I went to Forest, Chapel Hill.
And how was that? Going from a 5A school at the time down to Forest, and Forest was a
2A.
Okay, so was you the head coach?
I was the defense coordinator there for a year, and then Coach Coleman left, and I took over for 2 years as a head coach.
How was that, the transition?
It was difficult at first, but once Chapel Hill is a football community through and through. I still talk to people from Chapel Hill to this day. It's a great community. They were very supportive, and they helped me along my transition. I was fortunate to have a guy on staff named Brent Johns, was from there, so he taught me the traditions and the things they did so I could fit in, and I wasn't doing things I shouldn't be doing, making the community mad. So I spent a total of 3 years there. It was great. We won the region championship the first time since 1980. We advanced to the second round.
Now, did Luker coach at Forest for a little
bit?
Okay,
he did. So we had a little connection. I had an alumni game where I brought alumni back, and Coach Luker came to the game and watched, so I got to know him from that time. So it was real neat. So after 3 years there, I was fortunate to get the head coaching job at Centennial. I've been there the past 7 years, and now Mr. Smith has put his trust in me to come back home to Blackman and lead the Blackman Blaze.
What's it like, thinking about, and I'm not picking on anything from Williamson County, but you started your trek here at in Rutherford County, but what is it like just to come back here to Rutherford County? We feel like this is where it is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is where. I mean, every Friday night,
Yes.
it's a war every Friday night, no matter who you're against. What's it like coming back to Region 368?
It's exciting, and I tell you, one of the things is very exciting. Hopefully, as long as all the paperwork is everything completed, I'll be here next Monday, March 13th. And so one thing that's different is, all the varsity kids, all the kids next year are in first period weights. We don't have that in Williamson County, so I feel like that's a huge advantage. You can do some things. You can do walkthroughs, you can lift, you can do speed and agility work, and during the season you can watch film. So there's a lot of things that you see that Rutherford County does that that help you not only as a coach, but help the success of your team and other athletic teams by having athletic period.
There's some bonding there that goes
Yes.
on. I mean, it gives you a chance to sit down and talk to the quarterback or talk to the linebackers or so on and so forth. Gives you a chance to say, hey, what are you supposed to be doing on Friday night? What's your goal on Friday night? What is your main thing I ask you to do?
Yeah.
So it's important, isn't it?
It is, and so you're able to spend that extra time. Where in Williamson, no offense, it's we don't have an athletic period, so we get at school at 2:47. We're running on the practice field by 3 o'clock. By 5:30, they're tired and exhausted from being in school since 7:40. So they're we try to catch some film either early in the morning before school or right after practice, and so being able to have them during the school day is really important. It's going to take me some extra getting used to, but also it's going to feel like a huge advantage as we prepare for Friday nights.
3 things that are different from you than your brother, and you are the oldest.
Yeah.
As you have told me just a little bit before the interview, I did ask just a couple of questions, but you are the oldest by 5 minutes as a twin brother to him. What are 3 things that are different?
3 things that are different. I'd say one, I'm a little bit more laid back than him. I think he gets more uptight and worked up than me, but he may argue with that. I think time-wise, I'm very efficient on time. If I say I'm going to be there at 5:30, I'm going to be there at 5:20, where I think he may slide in like a little later, 1 or 2 minutes late. And then the last thing, I'd say he's more of a fashion guy, where he'll go out and he'll go shopping for clothes and things like that. You'll see he'll have all kinds of different shoes on. Where now that I'm transitioning over here from Adidas school to a Nike school, now I have to buy me a bunch of Nike stuff. You'll see me all the time wearing Nike stuff. That's going to be my fashion. Where he keeps up with the latest trends with the kids and all that sort of stuff.
That's great. That's great info. What's it going to be like? Probably the number one question a lot of people ask. So let's just go ahead and get it on the table. What does mom and dad say before I ask the Kriesky Bowl question? What has mom and dad kind of said since this has kind of happened and you've taken on this job and you two coaching? And, there's not been a time since he's been at Riverdale and you've been at Centennial where you guys can kind of sync up and have the Kriesky Bowl. And when you get down and you say, okay, I got an opening on this date, what do you have? And he probably says, I'm full that day. It never could happen with the Williamson, Rutherford, and we only have 5 open games. It just did never connect, did it? But now that it has connected, what's mom and dad kind of say?
We were after my first year at Centennial, we did play. We played a 2-year contract.
Okay, so that's my mistake.
No, so I tell you this. So the first year he came to Centennial, and I thought we had the better team. What was it, Savion?
Yeah, Savion Davis.
Ran probably for 300 yards that game against us, probably had like 5 touchdowns. So they ended up winning the next year. Going in, I thought they had the better team. We went on a last-second field goal that Johnny Crouch kicked for us, game-winning field goal. So we're 1-1.
So you 1-1. So the Kriesky Bowl has kind of already happened, but now it's going to be a little bit more intense since you guys are in what we call the backyard brawl. And what does that game mean to you now that I've kind of thrown it out on the table?
It means a lot. Not only facing my brother, but it's a huge region game. It's a difference probably between a home playoff game and a away playoff game.
It's exactly right.
So you want that home playoff game. It's going to be huge and very, very important. At the end of that Friday night, it's at 7 o'clock. I'm going to have my family on this sideline. He's going to have his family on that sideline. We're going to be against each other for a couple of hours. And hopefully the Black plays will come up on the good side.
The chance to play some of the coaches that I speak with. You're going to get to play You're going to get to play Stewart's Creek, Ben Connell, and going to get to play Coach Guthrie out at Rockville. And going to get to always play your brother, and then going to get to play Kevin Kriesky. What's it like knowing that Kriesky's kind of owned this county since he walked in 2015? Nobody's knocked him off the King's Ledge. What's that kind of like knowing? And you've already coached against the Woods and the Franklins and everything. But what's the big difference?
Well, just you not only have top players in this league, but you got top coaches. Not even I say coaching staffs in Rutherford County from top to bottom, or you have really good coaching staffs because not only Rutherford County is able to help you out in your teaching schedule a little bit, where it's not the grind of that, where you got six Algebra 1 classes or doing something academically all day. Then you have to come at 2:30 prepared.
We are a more sports-minded county,
yes,
and we focus a little bit on that, and the trophy cases reveal that. I mean, no doubt in our county.
So I say that's going to be a difference, knowing that you're not only have you got a full staff that's probably in there working and grinding week in and week out. There's no different. I went against the Crawfords and the Hesters in Williamson County. Those, two of the top guys in that area.
And Donnie Webb.
Donnie Webb also. But just as just coming back to Rutherford County, knowing the competition from top to bottom, knowing the coaches that you're going against, it's going to be a huge challenge, and I'm ready to get to work.
What is fragmented wise as we look at the spring, and maybe you've had a chance to look at it? How fragmented are you going to be going into the spring? And what I mean by fragmented is as we all know, basketball and baseball, those skill sets transfer and track. All three of those transfer real well to football. This is a diode type transfer, meaning that only happens one way. You can't take football and go to any of the three except maybe track. But how fragmented will you be going into the spring practice with some of your guys maybe being in baseball? Sonny Gray played baseball. He was a heck of a quarterback. And, how fragmented are you going to be?
Well, I'd say right now we're behind the 8 ball. It's mid-March already, and they don't have a head coach in the building or a couple of assistants. So we're going to get in there. When we get in here next week, we're going to be moving as quickly as possible. Trying to get, the guys already here up to speed to what we want them to do and how we want to do things. And then, yes, we will be behind a little bit having guys in spring sports, but they're multi-sport athletes for a reason.
Right.
So I don't think having them catching them up is going to be that hard. We got, we're going to start spring ball May 1. Maybe we'll get a few back towards the end of it. If not, we have the whole month of June and a couple weeks in July before we put the pads on, before we really get going. Yes, it is crunch time, year one for me. And we're behind. Got to install an offensive scheme, defensive scheme, special teams. Get our coaches all together. Everybody on the same. Get them all over here. But it's part of it. I did it 7 years ago at Centennial. It worked out well for us. We made the quarterfinals that year, and I have no doubt the guys I'm bringing in are going to come in ready to work. Coaching staff, and then it's going to bleed over into the young men once they see the coaching staff gelling together, working together. And then they're going to want to do extra stuff, more stuff to get us caught up to where we need to be up to speed.
Will you do the same things you did at Centennial as over here? Will you run the same offensive scheme that you think, that you like that set? Or is this a time to change it, and that goes for the defense also? So I'll lay that out.
Defensively, we're going to do the same things we did last year. I'm bringing a guy over with me that was with me last year at Centennial.
So you like that, and what is that scheme you like to run?
I'd say it's multiple, from a 3-man to 4-man front. Defensively.
So will you run a 4-2-5?
Well, we call it a 4-2-5, but we also, in our over and under front, we bounce back and forth. So he's very multiple. He's really, I'm a defensive guy. He's really opened my eyes to some of the things he's done, and I put all my trust in him so I can concentrate some. Like last year, I was able to focus a little bit more on offense than previous years. Offensively, we'll do some of the same types stuff that we did last year.
And what is that?
Well, I'd say, we're 10-11 personnel. I like an H-back to H-back slash tight end. But we're going to have to adapt to what the guys we have here. So, maybe we do have an H-back type guy, maybe we don't. So, if we do, we're going to be able to use it. I like to run the football, especially in key situations, because I'm a defensive guy, to eat up some of the clock. But if we have guys we can throw it around out there and catch and go, we're going to go. But I say I'm primarily gap scheme guy, but I've also come into some other type of run schemes that I really like. Passing the ball, we'll have a couple concepts, and we'll have a couple of our vertical concepts that we'll throw out there.
Always a big crowd, always a big student section, always a great band. What's it like going to be like here on Friday night, being in this atmosphere when you come into the Inferno Tunnel?
It's going to be exciting. We're going to have this place rocking, and we're going to have not only the student section, this whole community, the fans are going to get behind us and rally to this team. Some good things are going to happen next year for these people.
Anything else you'd like to add before we get away here? Anything I left out, or anything you'd like to say to the parents, to the faculty, staff, administration, the fans? Anything you'd like to add as far as the new head coach of the Blackman Blaze?
I'm excited, ready to get in the building and work, ready to get out in this community and get things going. And if they ever need anything from me, they feel free, come here. I'll be here.
So the door's always open?
The door's open. They need me to do anything, or if I can do it, vice versa.
There's always a good chance for a courageous conversation. I'm
That's
sure
right.
You'll go through one of those. They always happen.
I'm sure it will be. But excited to be here. My family's excited to be here. Hopefully I can get my wife in either the elementary school or the middle school teaching. My kids.
I'm sure you will. I mean, there's all of that. This county's good about doing that.
Yeah.
They take care of their own.
Then my kids at Blackman Elementary, so we'll all be here right here together. So we're excited, and we can't wait.
Lots of changes happening. Recently, also, an old friend of ours has left Tennessee Tech, and that's Bert Brown. He's now down at Albertaville High School. We're going to try to talk to him real soon. But we appreciate you joining us here on this special edition of the Inside the Headset with the new head coach of the Blackman Blaze, head coach Matt Kriesky.